Hello and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel in the first place. Today we have a multiple character special. I normally don't say this, but seeing as this video is going to be a lot more popular than the other ones, I just want to say if you like my content, feel free to subscribe. I post 6 days a week. Anyways, let's go ahead and get into it. Suzuku Midoriya. A yawn escaped your lips as you shut the curtains in your bedroom due to the sun being way too bright. When you woke up on that Saturday, it was around lunch, and you had plans to go out to brunch with Suzuku and his mother. You stripped into your undergarments and started digging around in the dresser for a nice shirt. Suzuku started to head to your bedroom. He and his mother had just pulled up on the driveway of your house, and he figured you were still asleep. Once he turned the doorknob and stepped into your bedroom, the two of you immediately had a flustered stare down. "Suzuku, shut the door!" you shouted as you covered yourself with a shirt. He panicked and quickly did as you said while covering his eyes. Unfortunately, he was still in the bedroom. "Suzuku, out of my room!" he said loudly while laughing. Once he was out of your bedroom, the both of you were leaning against the door. "I'm sorry, that's a nice shirt," he chuckled nervously. He only sighed as you began to get dressed again. "Thanks, Suzuku." Katsuki Bakugo. "Damn it, every damn time," you grumbled. You were going to be nearly late for UA if you didn't get dressed before Katsuki arrived. The shower you had taken was rushed, and now you were really unprepared due to you forgetting the bottom half of your uniform. Once you wrapped yourself in a towel and marched to your bedroom, Katsuki groaned and knocked on the front door again. "This dork better hurry up," he sighed. When you didn't answer for the third time, Katsuki let himself inside of your house. He began to stomp towards your bedroom, but he opened the door rather slowly. "Hey listener, we have to—" "Katsuki!" you squealed. Blush and embarrassment took over Katsuki's face after seeing you holding a towel towards your unclothed body, although he immediately stepped out of the bedroom and shut the door. "We're gonna be late," he shouted. The rest of your uniform was in the bathroom, so you sighed and groaned into the towel. "My clothes are in the bathroom." When Katsuki grabbed your clothes, he opened the door widely, had his eyes closed, and tossed them in, then slammed the door shut again. "Thank you. Hurry up." Shoto Todoroki. You would have spent the entire Saturday with Shoto, but unfortunately, he had to go on an assignment with his 3 classmates to gain a quirk license. As complicated as it sounds, it wasn't for him. To pass the time, you lounged around at your house, watching television, improving your quirk, and completing homework. When hours passed of being exhausted, you decided to take a relaxing shower to calm your nerves down. At that time of your preparation, Shoto was heading to your house. As he promised you, he would spend as much time as he could with you before the day was over. Although, when he opened up your room door, he didn't expect to see you in only your undergarments. When you noticed he was behind you, you yelled and immediately hid behind a shirt. "Don't just stare!" you yelled out of embarrassment. Shoto covered his eyes and backed out of the bedroom, then turned his back towards you. "My apologies, I didn't mean to walk in on you when you were changing," he mumbled. You only groaned and sighed, then closed the bedroom door by using a gush of wind created from your palm. "You're so lucky or sweet, or I would have struck you with lightning," you mumbled. Tenya. Unfortunately, which shouldn't be a surprise, you ended up waking up late. Today was not the day to arrive late for class either. Aizawa was taking the students of Class 1A to meet Mountain Lady for a speech over cleanup, plus those who didn't show had to take a written exam. As you struggled to put on your shirt due to you overly rushing, Tenya was already heading towards your bedroom. Since he only lived a block away from you, he walks with you to the academy. Usually you were outside waiting for him, but you weren't this morning. After Tenya saw the light of your bedroom was on, he opened the door and stepped inside. "Hey, Tenya!" he faintly screamed and then shut the door and held it closed. The both of you were a blushing mess, but you seemed to calm down a lot quicker than him. "Sorry." "Well, Tenya, you should learn how to knock. You should learn how to lock the door." Ojiro Kirishima. A heavy and frustrated groan slipped from your lips as you struggled to pull up your pants. You hated wearing the uniforms, but you didn't have time to sit around and complain. You weren't late, but Ajira was the type that showed up without a warning. In fact, he was waiting on the porch of your house. He had knocked 3 times, but you still hadn't answered the door. Are they still sleeping? He chuckled to himself. Better go see then. You slipped your undergarments on as Ojiro poked his head into your bedroom. Damn, he mumbled. Once you heard his voice, you locked eyes with him, and you became a flustered mess. Ojiro, what the hell, leave! You shouted. Once you threw your shirt at him, he caught it and gave you a toothy grin. Well, I'll be taking this then. Once you realize what you've done, you groan again when he shuts the door. Although Ajiro did open the door and toss your shirt back at you. That wasn't funny, Ajiro. Kinda was. Hitoshi Shinso. Last night you had gotten home late with your grandmother. You were helping her at the neighborhood city hospital, which was filled with patients who suffered from a villain heist. With that being stated, you slept in an extra 10 minutes. However, your grandmother requested Hitoshi to come over and wake you, while she left for the hospital. As you rush around in your bedroom in your undergarments, Hitoshi creaked the bedroom door open. He stopped in all motion after seeing you scan through your closet for your uniform. There was no doubt his eyes widened and became a flustered mess. Although he did step out of the room and leaned against a wall while covering his face with his palm. Since you didn't see him there, you jumped out of fear and surprise, which caused him to look out at you, out of embarrassment. Hey, don't sneak up on me like that, you laughed. Right, my bad. Ojiro. Since there were no UA classes, you and Ojiro decided to go to the park today, since it was too nice of a day to be stuck inside. Since he had made that plan last minute, you decided to change into something cooler than your pajamas. Thankfully, you brought a change of clothes. Take your time, he mumbled before kissing your cheek. After you grinned and nodded, he closed the door to his bedroom and gave you your privacy. As you dug through your bag for a change of clothes, he answered the phone when Denki started calling. Oh, hang on, let me go get my charger, he mumbled. Due to being lost in his classmates' conversation, Ojiro forgot you were in his bedroom. Once he opened up the door, his cheeks heated a light pink. You were pulling up a pair of shorts over your underwear and still didn't have a shirt on. After the top of Mashiro's tail covered his face, he backed out of the room slowly and closed the door. Yeah, I'm still here, he mumbled. I just, walked in on listener changing. Huh? I'm not telling you what color? Color of what? He laughed. Nothing. Tamaki Amajiki. After all of the classes of UA were done with, you and Tamaki had plans to go to the park. It was a Friday, and the two of you hadn't spent much time together outside of school. Since you didn't want to be stuck wearing your uniform for the rest of the day, you brought a change of clothes. As Tamaki held your backpack, you were digging through it, pulling them out. Once you went into the bathroom of the main hallways in the school, your cell phone began to repeatedly ring in your backpack. Tamaki, who was still holding onto your backpack, heard your cell phone ring within it. He obviously didn't want to answer it and tell the person who was calling that you were changing. Listener, Tamaki mumbled. When you didn't answer, he sighed and gently pushed open the door. No one else was in the school, but he still felt highly embarrassed and awkward. After he peeked through the door, he deeply blushed and covered his eyes, seeing you pulling up your shorts over your underwear. Tamaki? You shouted. Phone, take it, he mumbled loudly. As you talked on the phone, Tamaki still had his hands over his face and his head pressed against the wall. I saw them changing. I mean they look nice, but they probably think I'm a perv. Denki Kaminari. Babe, come on, you grinned as you narrowed your eyes at Denki, who was at your doorstep. Today, since there were no UA classes, the two of you had decided to hang out with a few of your classmates. Just come in, give me a minute, you shouted from your bedroom. As Denki waited for you to get changed and ready, he walked around the house and took time to admire all of the details in it, like your baby pictures, for example, and one in particular caught his attention. They're playing possum with their quirk, how cute, he thought to himself. Once he unhooked the photo from the wall, he went towards your bedroom, although he opened the door just in time to see you pulling up a pair of shorts. Dinky? Sorry. You knew I was changing. After you backed out of your bedroom, you rushed towards the door and closed it, since you were still in your undergarments. You're lucky you can't come back to life or I would kill you. Feisty for someone who wears bright-colored underwear, he snickered. Mirio? Hey, sunshine. Mirio immediately stopped speaking after stepping inside your house with a bag of takeout from the nearest diner. Tonight, it was only going to be you and him at your house. There was no school tomorrow, and you didn't want to stay alone while your parents were out of Sunday limits. Must be in their room, he mumbled. After he placed the food on the counter in the kitchen, he began to wander about your bedroom. Just a few minutes before Mirio showed up, you had gotten out of the shower. Like normal too, you had forgotten to grab a new change of clothes, and that led you to step out of your bathroom in your undergarments. Unfortunately, you doing that was just at the time that Mirio had used his quirk to poke his head through the wall. Mirio! You shouted while trying to cover yourself. Sorry, you look beautiful by the way, he chuckled nervously from the hallway. Tomura Shigaraki. Tomura's eyes were slightly widened after watching you pull off a shirt. He wasn't watching you from your bedroom, but the window of the hallway. You were currently walking around the house while changing, due to you having so many errands to run. Currently, Tomura was going to visit you outside of the League of Villains, meaning he wasn't stopping by to discuss business with you, but to spend time with you instead. Unfortunately, the sight caused Tomura to only observe you. As you walked down the hallway while tugging up a pair of loose shorts next, you passed by the window. Tomura, you mumbled. When you walked back to where you thought you saw him, you had seen no one out in your yard. That caused you to stalk outside your house more after using your quirk of teleportation. Tomura only smirked and knocked at the front door of your house. When you teleported back inside and answered it, your flustered face lightened. Everything all right, dear? He mumbled. You nodded and let him inside. Yeah, I just think you were getting into my head, you whispered. Dobby. Your eyes were widened and you felt your cheeks heat up out of embarrassment shortly after. You were staring at Dobby, who was washing his face in the sink of the bathroom you were in. That wasn't an issue at all, but the fact that you were in the middle of changing when Dobby walked straight in, and without hesitation either. Last night you allowed Dobby to stay over. He had slept on the couch that night, and after waking up and taking a peek of his sleeping form in the living room, you felt beyond glad that he stayed. Since he was still sleeping, you decided to get dressed and do something more relaxing before that interruption. You hummed. Dobby looked up at you, and he seemed to not be fazed by this situation either. He groaned. You were staring at him through intensity as you held a long t-shirt over your undergarments. Privacy, he mumbled. You nodded, and that's when he sighed and gave you a smirk. He walked out and closed the door behind him. You sighed and shook your head. Thanks for knocking? Alright, so that's the end of this one. I hope you enjoyed. If you're in the live chat, make sure to thank the moderators. Music link, fanfic link, Discord link, Amazon wishes link, and thumbnail art link will all be in the description. And I just want to say thank you all for 20,000. I know I haven't been saying this for each 1,000 that I get, but I really do appreciate you all. Thank you for being here. It's pretty nice. Alright, I hope you have a great rest of your day, night, whatever, and I hope to see you in the next one. Goodbye!